my name is Janie Wolff, and this is the presentation for my OD library. I chose a swirly colored photo to represent myself and my OD approach because I think that as time goes on, I will learn to blend techniques and methods in order to fit individual needs and client needs. Everyone's different, and there's no one size fits all solution to any one problem. After this video is uploaded, I'll add a link to it here. At the bottom is also a link to my OD library. The purpose of my OD library is to serve as an ever-evolving, ever-growing library to house all of the information, tools, and resources that I may stumble across throughout my OD journey. This library will be utilized not only in future OD classes, but eventually in my OD career. Currently, I've compiled things I've stumbled upon in this class, the 2 previous EMOD classes, and a few webinars I've attended. As time goes on, I will continue to acquire resources and to add to my library. I think as time goes on, I'll also find tactics that work better than others, and I can work on replacing outdated or ineffective interventions or resources. My professional goal is to promote communicative competence in the education sphere through immersion and collaborative change. I also have a passion for nonprofits and can see myself working in the 501c3 community in the future. If I had to narrow down all my values to a single one, it would be ambitious. I'm constantly driven to move forward, not only in my career, but in my personal life as well. I don't mind putting in the time and effort to succeed. My instrumental values would be courageous, intellectual, and helpful. I'm not afraid to stand up for what I think is morally and ethically right, and speak out against injustices. I also strive to have all the information about all the things. I sometimes come across as a know-it-all, but I'm not ashamed at the knowledge I have acquired. I also strive to be helpful, not only to friends and family, but also to my community and the places I work. I was adopted at birth with all 4 of my parents being in the Army, so I was raised with strict standards of morality and work ethic. My mom left when I was in middle school, so I was basically raised by my dad. This influenced how I interact with others and how others perceive me. I'm often described by people as bossy and abrasive, but I know that if I was born as a man, I would be described as confident and ambitious. For our DB3 posts, we had to come up with a method. I've decided to name my method Hourglass Sands. I have the invitation and purpose outlined in my OD library already. Basically, this method utilizes a fast-paced, hands-on approach to changing perspectives and moods. The host will have everyone in the room write out all of their issues with the organization that they want addressed on red sticky notes. These sticky notes will then be put on a board. An hourglass will be flipped by the host, and the team will try to flip the red sticky notes to green sticky notes by finding a solution or positive way to view the problem. Every time a red sticky note turns green, the hourglass is flipped back over and the team gets more time for more perspective change and solutions. This method has a lot to be fleshed out still, but I hope to utilize it in the future. Everyone always asks you when you're younger what you want to be when you grow up. My husband's answer was easy. His dad is a pilot. He also wanted to be a pilot, so he's a pilot. His answer never changed. But when I was really little, I wanted to be a soldier like my dad. Then I wanted to be a singer. Then, by high school, I wanted to be a middle school guidance counselor. Then, by the time I was in college, I wanted to travel the world and teach English. And I got to do that. Now, I think since I've matured, my dream job would be blending my passion for nonprofit work and education together. Ideally, I would work helping schools become better in other countries. As for which organization, I would love to work with the Arab and Urban Development Institute in Saudi Arabia. They have a children and youth program where they help design child-friendly cities. I've worked with them on a grant project in the past, but would love to work with them as part of their full-time staff in Riyadh. Because I have worked with them in the past and have connections with the organization, I don't think it would be too difficult for me to find a place to fit in there. I think their organization goals line up with my passions, even if they are almost completely government funded, which sometimes leads to some tricky gray areas. Currently, my resume depicts my experience in the education world and the nonprofit world, with education being the main focus. I'm currently looking at positions that would fill the gap between the two to help balance out my resume. The key components of my portfolio are my purpose, my method, my experiences, books, the 8 design elements and my notes on them, methods I've studied, interventions I've collected, and courses I've taken. I have these organized into a Google Doc by section. I can easily access this document at any time on my phone, laptop, or home computer. Having it as a Google Doc allows me to change it while not at a computer and add additional resources I might find at conferences, or to add notes that people may suggest while I'm out in public. I will use my library and the knowledge I've gained from the resources within to prove to potential clients or employees that I am competent and well versed in various methods of OD. Because it is a Google Doc, I am able to add comments to different sections. If I don't understand a certain method or don't see the point in an intervention, I can add these comments to remind myself either not to use them until I have the mastery needed, or to look up further resources to help support my growing knowledge. Ultimately, I realized that there are a lot more resources out there that I need to collect. Every time I added a resource or an intervention to my library, I remembered another one that I had closed the tab on and forgotten about. What I have now in my Google Doc is a good starting point for me. I think my next step is to go through the Canvas and for all of my other courses from the program and add in all of the links, documents, articles, and PowerPoints that have been shared or dropped into discussions to add to my library. I also think I need to add a dedicated shelf in my den just for OD books. At the end of the day, I know I will always be a great work in progress. As long as I continue to move forward, I will be happy with where I'm going.